Hi guys, I'm live. Welcome. Today I'm going to do something special. I'm going to give you guys a VIP tour of the Digital Painting Academy. But before I go to this, let me know if you see me well, hear me well, you know the drill. Let me know in the chat. And yeah, in a few minutes, I'll give you a behind the scene, really, because maybe some of you are DPA members already, but maybe some of you were thinking about being a DPA member at some point. And so what I want to do is to open the gates, show you what's inside, and answer all your questions if you have any. Let me go check the chat. I guess I'm seeing already some few people. Hi, Lola, our amazing moderator from the Paintable Tribe. I'm seeing also Snow, Chenge. Hey, Chenge. Elia, Snow. All right, thank you guys so much for letting me know. Coming in loud and clear. Perfect. Awesome. All right, cool. You can see me. All right, perfect. Well, I'm super excited because this is actually, I think, the first time that I'm doing this, guys, that actually opened the doors. So I have opened a few tabs. And what I'll do is I'm going to try to make you like kind of the parallel between the registration page that you may already have seen and what does it translate within inside the Digital Painting Academy. So really showing you what's in it. And all of this, by the way, just as a reminder, is that we're doing this because on a Friday next week, the price of the monthly subscription of the DPA is going to go up to reflect the recent changes, recent and not recent. It's been about a year and a half that we've been working on the DPA, adding some material. I'm going to show you what it is. And for that reason, to make sure that we stay on track to keep adding stuff, there's going to be a slight price increase. But if you join right now the DPA, you'll have the old price locked in for you. And I'll go through all the details and answer all your questions later on. But for now, let me just kind of jump right in. I'm going to show you the registration page so you guys understand what do I talking about right now. So you might already have seen this page, and on this page, what you have, this is the page where you have the registration page. If you go to paintable.cc/academy, basically what you have in there is we're talking about the academy, what's in it. And so you have, if you have saw that before, you might see already that we have learning paths, that we have Q&As, up to 300 videos in there. All of this stuff today, I'm going to show you actually what it is inside the DPA. So I hope you're excited about it. On this page, you also have a little bit of my story, my background, how I came to be a professional artist from 10 years of being a 9-to-5 worker. I used to be a graphic designer working in a studio. And so, yeah, all of this, guys, I'm going to show you all of this from the DPA. So I hope you're ready. I'm going to jump right in there. Bam, I already have it open. So this is the inside of the DPA, guys. By the way, if you are in DPA, say DPA in the chat so we know who you are, because I'm sure there's going to be some of you guys are already in there. We have thousands of people that went through the DPA. And so this is the inside of DPA. It's been changing a few things since the few months that we have, so the past 12 months. And I'll show you what's in there. I'm going to start with the top. So we have the Academy. This is the page that I'm showing you right now. We have the deep dive. This is a new monthly deep dive that we have created. I'm going to show you what's in it in a minute. Also, I'm going to move this so I can see the chat. I'm also going to show you what's the Q&A. What do we do in the Q&A every month? The tribe, you might already know it, but I'll show you what's the special things that the DPA members have in the tribe. And I'm seeing a few DPA already, guys. I'm seeing Sabrina, Chenge, Snow, Kingu, Platkiefer Industries. Thank you so much, guys, for letting me know. This is awesome. I'm glad that you guys are here. So I'll show you. The library is basically the paintable tutorials. That's where the library is. The news is the news, and the badge system, which is pretty cool as well. But I'm going to start by showing you a little bit of what's on this page. This is the first page that you get into when you join the DPA. Basically, in here you have the header. On the header, what I show every month is the new modules, the new DPA, the new deep dive, basically the news that we have. So if there's something new coming up to the DPA, you'll have a news right there. When you click on this, this is going to go to this deep dive page, and I'll show you that in a minute. For now, let me just scroll down to show you. Here we have a video. This is a video of me explaining you how to basically work in the DPA, where are the stuff in there. It's a minute-long video where I talked about it. On the side, you have very important links. So links to the DPA, the deep dive, links to the tribe, which is super important, the community that we have at Paintable, the badge system, and the brush maker pack. This is the place where I put all the brushes. You have a direct link there. And as you can see here on the left, these are the learning paths. So if I was showing here the page here, the registration page, all the learning paths that we have right here, we have them right here. And so in those, they are placed in the right order. If you are a pure beginner, a pure newbie, you start at the top and you just have to follow down. Everything is placed in the right order. And I'm going to click in there to show you what's in there. Lots of DPA members are here, so they already know, but for everybody else, let me show you in there. So I'm going to first click with the start here. When you get in the DPA, in the Digital Painting Academy, you're going to get in here, and your first task is to tell us if you are a newbie, a beginner, or more advanced. And to know how to do this, I created those 3 videos, and I'll show you that here. I created this page, which is basically what we call the success path. So on the success path, you have 2 parts, the apprentice and the entrepreneur. Basically, if you are a beginner trying to up your levels, up your skills, you'll be on the apprentice. And if you're ready to start making an income with your art, you'll be in the entrepreneur side. And so you look at this page, and then what you do is you go back to the DPA, and in the self-assessment, you tell us which one you are by just clicking one of those buttons, and this unlocks everything. Then you can go back to the front page, and you have all those learning paths that unlock, and you can start from the very top, the foundation path, which has 5 modules: the ultimate beginner's guide, the making your first mark, sketching, rendering, and coloring techniques for beginners. And so this is like the first module that you need to know. This is in this section, you'll learn how to do your first illustration, how all the tools are working, the basic workflow that you need to have. I'll click into the making your first mark. This is one of the modules. And so in there you have, I believe, something like 20 plus videos. Let me just scroll down here. Yeah, we have 21 videos, including the homework, because each section has a homework. And in there, you're going to have to learn all the basic tricks. So how you learn, you use layers, masks, the pen tool, which is a very complicated tool and you don't know how to use it. And let me show you here for the pen tool, for example. On this video, you'll learn the pen tool. I'm going to click this here. I don't think you'll hear the text, but in here, basically, I go through all the pen tools. And this is like a quick exercise where I show you how to use the paint tool, and you have always a quick win. So what I call a quick win is a small exercise that you are able to do to practice right away the technique. So I go into great details on how to use the pen tool right here, always with a little description of what's in there. And so yeah, so all those tools are explained, and then at the end you have always an exercise. For this one, we have 4 icons. Here, this is like the video that shows you like what's the exercise. We have 4 icons that we go through them and practice all the techniques that we learned previously. So this is just like to show you. The next 4 videos after that goes in there. And then at the end, at the very, very end, you have a homework each time. I'm going to click on it to show you what the homework looks like. I'm going to click start, and then you have that little page that explains you what's the homework, the direction. And then what you have to do is to upload your work to share it. And the cool thing is, about a year ago, we implemented a new system in the DPA to make sure that you can track your progress, because tracking your progress is one of the key parts to see greater progress in your learnings. We have created the badge dashboard. I'm going to click on it here. So obviously I didn't finish everything in the DPA. I create the material, but doesn't mean that I go through them and do the homework. So all my badges are not done. But this is the badge system. So each time that you finish one module, what you have is a badge for the actual module. And then when you finish the entire path, you have the learning path badges. It's just a cool way really to just track your progress. As you can see, I finished the two first learning paths and a few badges here and there. And so everybody that joined the Academy has access to that. And each time you finish a learning path, I'm back on the first page. So these are the learning path. You'll have a badge associated to it. And some of them comes with perks. And I'll show you the perks later on. So if you have any question right now at this point, I'm answering all the question, guys. I'm going to continue afterwards to show you what are the deep dive, but I can also go through all the different learning paths if you want. Here we have obviously the foundation, we have the advanced. That the foundation will give you the foundation skills. The advanced is to go just a little bit beyond. We go through portraiture and coloring, those kind of things. Light and color path speaks for himself. How to put lighting from imagination, you'll learn in there. The anatomy path, the portrait, and so on. So once you finish all those paths, you have the base to be able to start painting from imagination, really. This is the idea. And there's, after that, another place to go. I'll talk about that later, but we have the illustration from imagination, which will open the door in about a month. So just put a pin in there. We'll talk about it later. So yeah, let me just see in the chat if you guys have any question. But we also have Chenge that works on the Paintable team, and Emily, I think that's answering question there. Thank you so much, guys, for helping me with the questions, because I see some of them are answered. Elias says, do you need to use Photoshop to complete the path, or is there a Procreate only path? So the way I teach is always with Photoshop. This is my tool of preference. But what I do for my classes is that for the most part, they are software agnostic. Now, I was giving you an example earlier with the pen tool. This is very much Photoshop. It's not in Procreate. But I always try to have both technique that will work in Photoshop, Procreate, Clip Studio, Paint. The idea is to teach you how to draw and how to create, not just Photoshop, right? So this is how all the classes are built in the DPA. Lola says that she's using Clip Studio Paint, as you can see. So yeah, there's really no problem there. And when you have a question, we have the tribe. Let me jump to the tribe, for example. So we have the tribe that we opened about a year ago. It used to be called the Digital Painting Academy. Now it's called the tribe. Let me go start here. So when you click on the tribe here, it's going to give you to this page. This page is a page where you can basically join the tribe and have all the perks that the DPA member has. I just explained basically on this page, but I'm going to go down here. You have a few perks by just being part of the DPA. Every month, you're basically going to get new perks by being there and sharing your work, and that gives you access to the Discord server, which we call now the Paintable Tribe. And so the DPA members have a very special section in there to share their work and get some feedback. And this is exclusive to the people that are joining the DPA. So yeah, if you have any question about this, you can also ask me later. But let's go back for now to the Academy. If you are part of the tribe already, you know this is the server in Discord. Maybe I can show you how it is later. But for now, I want to continue in there. I'm going to just jump to like a few of them to show you the different paths. So in the advanced one, we have the rendering techniques, and we have the coloring right here. That's been under construction for quite a while, but I'm planning on finishing it this year. Then we have this section here. I can click for the different learning paths. We have the light and color path. So in there, I have this very in-depth lighting theory module. I'm very proud of this one. This is teaching you how to create lighting from imagination from the get-go. There are 26 videos in there with a homework, and the homework basically puts everything together to learn how to do it from imagination. So you learn how to do basically basic shape in this module from imagination, how to put the lighting on it. And the exercise is to basically replicate that, but from imagination with different light source. And just to click on a few videos that you can see here. So we go through a lot of details to show you like the techniques on how to understand, to put the lighting in perspective on every basic shape. So we start with that. But I also explain more in-depth rules to get you there. So things like, I have like 4 sets of rules here. How the light move into space and the different science that goes beyond the light to understand how to do realistically. I'm very proud of this one because it's a big one. Lighting is such a big thing to be able to paint from anything from imagination really, but just anything really. Understanding your references, it's super important. So this is a very long one, but a very, very good one that we have obviously in the DPA. Let me go back a few steps. So that's the lighting, and in the lighting and coloring module, we have 5 module. We have also the work of different teachers. There's not just me in this module, so lots of stuff there. Let me just jump into like a few of the paths. So the anatomy path right now covers a little bit of the anatomy of the head mostly, but we did a figure drawing and a deep dive a month ago, and I'll show you what it is in a minute. Portrait and character is self-explanatory. Perspective, environment, basically. I won't go through all of them. We have a bonus section as well. What I try to do is always try to give a wholesome way to teach. So we don't teach necessarily just painting. Sometimes we teach things like promoting yourself. Like this case, I have a tutorial on how to mock up your work to be able to sell your work. You know, if you want to start your own Society 6 or Redbubble or any shop online, you want to be able to promote your work. So I made a very in-depth video about how to mock up your work, the kind of tools you can find and all this. And I show you that. I've been a graphic designer for 10 years, so this is the kind of stuff that I also know very well. So in this video, I show you how to mock up your work. Let me put this. You might have seen this work pass also in the Discord. So there was a video that I created for this. So that's to show you in the bonus section what we have. Let me go back to the page here. And we have resources. In the Digital Painting Academy, we have a few deals exclusive to the DPA. So you might have seen the Graphic Studio 20% off in the Paintable Tribe. The Discord, the Discord has 20%, but the Digital Painting Academy has 40%. Is usually what I do is I try to find something for the tribe, but also the DPA having better deals. So that's where we're going to find them. So you have 40% here for the Graphic Studio, 40% off for Colorist, the Hairstylist 30%, and 20% off the Gold annual membership for Ko-fi, which is pretty awesome. So this is a major part of this. I'm going to go into deep dive in a second. I'm just going to go check if you guys have any questions. So Mode says, in the past environment and fantasy lessons where Darken is, do you have other lessons to yourself? I'm planning on doing a lot of lessons on environment. It's on the to-do list. There's so many things I want to create. But what's good with the deep dive, what I'll show you in a second, this is going to give me the option to be able to actually do this more often. So definitely we'll jump into environment. Actually, with the door opening to illustration for imagination, which definitely includes environment, I'm planning on having maybe something about composition eventually. So that's going to come as well. Let me just scroll down here to see the questions. Thank you so much for being here with me, guys, by the way. This is awesome. So a ton of Black Friday. I see that because I think that's been already answered. All right, so let me move on to the deep dive for a second. So the deep dive is that new section that we started, and you might have seen it pass. This is absolutely new. I just built this page. On this page, you're going to have the deep dive library, basically. And we have only 2 months right now. So last month was gesture, and that was pretty awesome. And this month, we're doing facial expression. And for next month, as we open the door of illustration for imagination as well, we'll have the OWP, the 1-week portrait challenge, which is an amazing challenge. And I'm assuming a lot of you guys already participated in. So I'm going to have also something to cover and help the students of the DPA with that challenge. But for now, let me show you what we have into the gesture drawing. So last month, I created this. This is a close to 10 videos, I think, in depth to showing you the 7 steps on how to basically create. Let me just see which one could be interesting to see here. Things like the dynamic shapes. So I go through the dissecting of one particular pose, not able to say this one, and to just understanding how to break down a gesture pause. And this is just to show you a specific example on how deep I go, because I go into 7 steps for you to understand how to create a gesture drawing that looks fluid, that expresses the movement or the gesture, basically. And there's 11 videos in this one, and the one before that, the one after that I just did this month was, let me go back here. the facial expression. Actually, we uploaded this one, I think, a couple of days ago. And this one has another 10 videos, I believe, as well. And you go through 6, well, 7 if you count the neutral expression, basically 6 facial expression, and I show you in detail how to do it. And what I try to do is, if you are a beginner, I'm giving an exercise for beginner, and if you're a little bit more advanced, an exercise for the advanced as well. So in this one, I go from the neutral face, and I show you how I change it to, let me put that bigger so you guys see it, how I change it to be a smiling face. And each time that I do something, I talk about the muscles that are important to modify in there. You might have seen the YouTube video that I just released. The YouTube video is kind of on surface. In the DPA, I go into more details. So talking about the anatomy that goes behind it. And this is one of the facial expression, but I go to angry, surprised, sad, disgust was definitely the hardest one for me. And I show you how I do it from scratch. And the last one was scared. So this one was for the more advanced ones, how to start with the Andrew Lumi techniques, where you start building with the base of the skull and then adding the facial features. I'm just kind of scrolling up, you guys can see. But obviously, as I go through those, they are all with my commentary. So I talk over them, talk about the principles that I follow, and my thought process in general. So these are the deep dive. I'll be adding new of those. And what's cool is that now that we have those, the entire community, the entire tribe, and especially the DPA members all work together towards a same subject. And so I'm able to answer questions and do the Q&As every month. So that's another section I want to show you here. So in the Q&A, a huge part of getting better at anything is to have the right feedback, right? So that's why I make priority to go once a month to give feedback to everybody in the community. And usually what you can do is you can come on this page that is directly linked to the DPA, and you can submit your work, and I give you a paint over sessions, feedback and all that. So you just put your name here, you upload the work, and as you can see at the bottom, I've been doing this since 2017. So let me just maybe show you like, how does it look? Basically, I go online. This is the one that I did last month. I'll have one coming up in about 2 weeks for the month of March. But just to show you, I have the work of a few students that are sending to me. It can be personal work. It can be work that you do from the DPA, so exercises, for example. And in this case, I go through them and explain the principle of it. Maybe you're not able to see because you have me on top of it, but I'm in the corner here. How could I show you that? I'm in the corner. Oh, no, I know how I'm going to do this. Wait. So now you see me here, but if I take my face out of it, I think I'm able to do this from here. Wait, I'll take that out. There you go. So as you can see in the corner, that's me in the corner, just basically giving feedback on this piece of work. And as I go through it, I explain some principles on how to make it better. And I go through all the works that the students are sending me. Sometimes it's portraiture, sometimes it's very complex paintings, trying to help them with the principles of light, perspective, and all of that. Let me put my face back so you guys see me again. Hey! So yeah, so I love to do this. I do that every month. And as you can see, I've been doing this since 2017. And I do that every month. And I'm planning on doing it for forever, really. I just love to do this. I might actually do even more. So when you're part of the DPA, this is a perk that you get automatically is you get those Q&A every month. You can submit your work and answer a question and get feedback on your work. Let me see what I didn't cover here. So I covered the tribe, I covered the deep dives, I covered the Q&As, the badge system. The news is basically just news. I won't go through it. The library is just the products that you have, such as the DPA, but if you have other products, you'll get them there. And so, yeah, let me go back to the registration page. So these are all the sections that I've been covering here. And obviously, like I was saying, I'm showing you all of that, guys, because the monthly price is going to go up now. Next week, we are putting from 35 to 45 to just have, make sure that we're able to just keep on growing, really. But if you have any question about this, you let me know. But I think I've been covering pretty much everything that I wanted to show. So this is, yeah, this is the inside of the DPA, guys. I hope you liked that VIP tour. Let me just go back and show my face in big. Hey guys, and I'll see if I can answer some question. I know that Chenge and Emily already answered a few. Jupsa says, how long would each path take? I understand it would vary for each individuals. Estimated range. Definitely, it depends on everybody, but usually there's no time frame. There's people that go through the academy very fast. There's people that go very slowly. But now with the deep dive, the idea is to keep on growing on a monthly basis altogether, and to have the learning path as being kind of the structure that you need to push even further. The idea is really to just keep the momentum, because the path are one thing, the 300 videos, tutorials, the Q&A, all of that is absolutely great. But I think the greatest way to see progress is momentum. So what I mean by momentum is creating a habit of painting on a daily basis, at the very least on a weekly basis. This is the most important thing. And this is why I've been putting so much importance on the Paintable Tribe and the new deep dive that comes on a monthly basis. So you always have something to do no matter what. The idea is to always level up a little bit on an everyday basis. But if I were to answer your question, the path, like the easiest one, like the foundation path, might take you a month, but maybe the last one might take you a few months, because it becomes a lot more complicated as you go down, learning about perspective, lighting, coloring, and putting all that together to create unique pieces from imagination will take you a lot more time. So this is where you can use the DPA as, with the learning path, like a structure to get you there, and then the deep dive and the community that comes with it to help you to push, to build your portfolio and beyond. So there's no strict answer to this one, but hopefully this is helping you to have a quick idea. Just trying to see if there's a question. If you guys have a question, by the way, put a capital Q in front of it. It's always easier for me to read them. I'm terrible at doing two things at the same time, reading and then talking and all this. So I'm just going to go and scroll down. But if you have any question now, I'll take them all. So Andres Art says, what art job had you before starting this academy? I was a graphic designer for 10 years. And as a graphic designer, I was doing already a lot of illustration for the concept that I would do. But as a graphic designer, I was also really disappointed by the lack of creativity sometimes, placing a photo and text and logo together and basically do a lot of copy of that. I did a video on YouTube to explain the pain that I had as a graphic designer. So I did that for a long time. So illustration was always part of what I loved. But graphic designer is my background, basically. And then I did the switch when I was about 30 years old. I kind of quit my job, moved to Berlin, and just decided to have a different lifestyle and really plunge myself completely into illustration. And that's where I started to have some success, creating some art for clients. And so yeah, that's in a nutshell, that's my background. Graphic design and illustration have always been the two things. What are the colored light that you use to light your video with? Oh, it's just an LED light that I have in the background, and I have that little remote right here that you can see right there. I'm gonna put my eyes here, maybe not. But anyhow, with this one, I'm able to just kind of change the light like this, so it's pretty cool. And I decided that purple would be the day today, purple. And I don't know the brand of it. This is saying Young Newell. Can you see that? Is it going to focus on it? Young Newell. Maybe it's too dark for you guys, but yeah. Anyhow, I bought that when I was in Thailand a year ago. It's a small one that kind of does the job. How the Kickstart bundle differ from the Portrait bundle? The Kickstart bundle covers the foundation path. So what you'll have in there is the foundation modules that you saw in the first path. So those 5 modules, that's the Kickstart bundle. The Portrait bundle has all of those plus the portraiture material that's in there. Also, I believe that you have access to the Going Pro, which is strictly usually a module that we give for people that wants to go professional, but especially the people that go to Illustration for Imagination program, which is kind of the next step after the DPA. So if you go to the DPA as a beginner or newbie and you progress your way towards advanced, and even more than this, then you have an invitation to go to the Illustration for Imagination, which we are strictly building the workflow of a professional artist that goes through all the steps to build in Illustration for Imagination. Beyond the spec of this video today, of this live, but basically that's the difference between those two. Krina says, how does the Kickstart bundle? Okay, I just answered this one. We'll tell about the Paintstorm Studio. Paintstorm Studio, I have no knowledge of Paintstorm Studio. I'm sorry, Sandy. This is beyond. I'm assuming it's a software. I never tried it. I've been trying, I think, briefly Clip Studio Paint, but the two ones that I use is Photoshop and Procreate. How do you do best get through the phases when you see nothing but mistakes in your piece? And it does really frustrating, says Platkiefer Industries. This is a great question, by the way. And here's how I'm going to answer it. I'm going to say first, congratulations. Why am I saying congratulations? Because if you were not to seeing the mistake that you're doing, you would be even less, like you would have even less progress in your learnings right now. The fact that you see the mistakes and it's frustrating, obviously the frustration it's a shame, but we all go through that. But the reason that you see those things is a good thing. It means that your eye, at the very least, know what's good and bad. And that's key to your success. If you were not to see those things, you would be a total newbie. Total newbies don't see really the difference between a good anatomy portrait. But once you start having understanding of anatomy, perspective, color, light, you start seeing a lot of mistakes in your work until you see progress. So the way I cope with it is don't focus on the outcome, focus on your progress and see that frustration as being progress. The fact that you're seeing those mistakes will help you to actually fix them. If you didn't see the mistakes, you couldn't fix them, right? So now that you see them, all you have to do is to find the solutions. Go to the Paintable Tribe, ask other people, get some feedback on your work. Definitely have mentors and tutorials to help you with all this, and you'll get through it. You know, the best analogy that I heard was from Proco. You guys know Proco. He's an amazing artist, has Proco.com. And what he was saying is that learning art is like learning a sport. You know, if you're learning soccer or football or any other sports, really, you'll never stop practicing. You know, it's a constant journey of practicing, you know, and you get better along the way, but it never stops. So you should not see your progress as an artist as being a straight line that, oh, if you go from A to Z, perfect, I'm done, I can stop, I'm a professional. No, it's every day, it's putting a little bit of work, learning, modifying, learning about styles, learning about techniques. All of those things will help you to get better. So I understand the frustration, but seeing as a victory. Now that you see the mistake, you're able to get better. Kingu says, is Iffy coming this year? Absolutely. Iffy comes every year. I'll give you guys more details about it. But in a nutshell, for the people that don't know what it is, Iffy stands for Illustration for Imagination. It's the program that we do once a year, which is completely live program. We open the door only once a year and then close them. And then we focus 100% on creating an amazing illustration together. It goes beyond the material that we have in the DPA, which gives you all the building blocks to be able to something. The Iffy goes on a path or a journey of becoming a professional artist and how to create pieces in your portfolio that attract clients. So that's in a nutshell the presentation, but I'll talk about Iffy later during the year. Yes, we are going to open the doors. It's going to be next month, I believe. We'll have the 1 week portrait challenge right before it. So as long as you stay tuned to the communication, emails, Paintable Tribe, my Instagram, you'll get the news. So if you have any questions, guys, about anything that I presented, let me know. Otherwise, I'll stick with you guys for another maybe 5-10 minutes, and I'll let you guys with your Sunday. I know for me, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm starting to get really hungry. let me see here if I missed any questions. Sandy says, which software is best for art? For artwork, brother. There is no better software. There is what we call the industry standard, which basically just means like how many professional artists are using the same software becomes the industry standard. And right now, it is still Photoshop to this day. Photoshop has just amazing length into not only being able to create illustration, but how to modify an image in itself. It's very powerful. You're able to do animation with it. But then again, lots of those things that I just named, you have them in Clip Studio Paint, you have them in Krita, you have them in GIMP, but they are not what we call standard because it's not everybody that used it. But Procreate is one of them that everybody's using these days. Lots of professional artists are using it these days. Some professionals are using only Procreate. So it's not about which software is the best. It's about which software you want to use. And if you have the occasion to try a few of them, Procreate, Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint, then try them all and see which one you prefer. I know for me, the translation from graphic design to illustration was easy because I knew already Photoshop. Therefore, it was easy for me to use as my main software, my main tool. But I've been using Procreate a lot more for the past year, and I love this tool as well. It's simple, it's portable, you can use it anywhere. So if you have a tablet, maybe go for this. But if you have a very powerful computer with you, then something like Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint would probably make more sense because you'll be able to do a lot more stuff. Things like tools like the pen tool, for example, that does not exist in Procreate, or things like more details like being able to do a group mask, which I won't go into details, but it's one of those things that you won't be able to do in Procreate as well. You'll be able to do masks, but not group masks. And although you don't need it to create beautiful illustration, it's fun to have all the tools at your disposal to just have more length into your strategies and your workflow. So that's, in a nutshell, my answer to this one. More questions. Kingu says, to get the confidence to publish art-related video, I have the urge to teach, but not sure to start, just being shy by myself. I totally understand. When I started to make video, it was not easy, guys. And if you go on my YouTube today, I dare you to go and try to scroll on my first video. I was terrible. This was me. So today, guys, we are going to learn about digital painting. Digital painting is something that I've been doing for the past. This was my tone, completely flat. I had no personality on camera. I learned all those tricks and I learned how to let loose. But there is no. I don't think there's a shortcut for it. You can definitely have. I think there's a few classes on Skillshare to how to become a social media personality. Maybe go check that out. But I think it's all about having the practice and the experience to just go in front of a camera and be like, wow, this is me. And that's it. And you're going to learn new tricks. You're going to learn the way you present yourself and all that. And that's going to become your own flavor. And then from there, you'll gain the confidence. It comes with wins and failure, good and bad moments. This is just a normal journey of being comfortable in front of a camera. Because it's really weird when you think about it. And you guys are online right now. You're with me. But at the same time, I'm alone in my room. I'm talking to a piece of furniture, a camera. It's it's kind of weird. So it just takes practice to just be comfortable in front of it. And once you have done it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Jupsa says, I missed the IFI program last year, so I'm really hoping to get into this year. Well, I'm really hoping to see you there too. Stay tuned. I'm really happy to open the door again this year. Just reading here, trying my best to do two things at the same time again. So James from New Zealand says, do you prefer drawing tablets, monitor, or just normal drawing tablet? You know what? That's been a struggle since the day I started. I started doing digital painting. I'm using right now a Wacom. If you follow my YouTube, you already know a Wacom 1 or 1 by Wacom, either one, because I think they have 1 by Wacom and Wacom 1, and they're different anyway. Great marketing. But when it comes to tablets, I definitely prefer a screen one. So I love to use my iPad, but I've been traveling so much for the past 7 years moving from Montreal to Berlin to Thailand to Colombia to all of this, that I need to keep my gear kind of light. But it's been years that I've been like having my eye on a Cintiq. I want a Cintiq. And as I'm moving back to Thailand within a few months, and I believe I'll be there for at least a year, so I'm thinking about actually buying one for myself finally. Maybe not the giant one, which I want to have at some point, but maybe something a bit smaller. And from there, I'll be only drawing on a screen tablet. But guys, 10 year plus I've been drawing with this. This isn't even like a professional one. It's like a semi-professional one. The tools that you're using will not make your art better. But as you grow in your career as being more savvy with your tool, having better tools will just help you to have a slightly better flow. But the differences in your art will be zero, guys, for the most part, okay? But there's like brushes that I'm not able to use completely because this won't tilt or move, so the brush don't move the same ways. So there's advantages to have just better tools. But for the most part, any basic tools will do. So in a nutshell, yeah, that is me. I would love to have a Cintiq at some point though. How can be faster in digital painting, says Agenda Art. I think it's just a question of like having more practice with your own artistic flow. And it's one thing that I try to teach from the get-go in the DPA, starting with the foundation. I teach you my flow that I have today because you'll learn a lot of flows from different artists, and they are all valid to a certain extent. But as an artist, you decide which flow you want to do for yourself. So you want to start with a mentor that was going to teach you one flow, and then you take a little bit from him, and then a little bit from another one. And I still learn a part of the flows from different things. Flow, for example, is like having a sketch, doing your flat colors, then adding your shadows and light, and then rendering. This is actually the flow that I used today. It's just 4 or 5 steps, that's it. And once you understand those perfectly and the steps itself, that's where you're gonna see progress. So it's all about workflow, really. Just going down. I wanna say hi to Fabe, which Fabe was actually the co-founder of Paintable, guys. He's in the chat if you guys wanna say hi to him. Hey, dude. It's nice to have you here. Lola says, is Hairstyle with Style plans for 2022? It's a maybe for this one, all right? Because I have the new deep dive here and I have like new ideas, but it's one that's popular, so it's probably more yes than no right now. But I'm just gonna keep the decision for me for a little bit later on. If it's this year, it's going to be after summer though, or in the summertime, because we have a few things coming up real close, such as the one-week portrait and the illustration for imagination that comes really soon. How to get faster in digital painting this year. So I already answered that. What do we say? Jendar says, it's been a year and a half and I draw every day, 4 hours to 2 hours, but still slow. So yeah, definitely work on your workflow. Definitely learn techniques, but the workflow itself, try to really force yourself into a workflow. And if you don't know what is your workflow right now, then you have to define that, right? So find a workflow that you're interested in. Join a DP if you're in a DP, then definitely go into the foundation. And I'll teach you a basic workflow into the Making Your First Mark module. That's where you'll have the basic workflow. Carl says, you won't be disappointed in a Cintiq, changed my life. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I really can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Kinyu says, Cintiq scratch easily though. Oh, that's a shame. You prefer Yuan, it's cheaper too. Maybe I'll try a couple of tablets and maybe make a video out of it. Muestra says, hi from Venezuela. Hi. So he says, Photoshop plus Illustrator and After Effects is my tools. What is your opinion about InDesign? Well, as a graphic designer, InDesign was definitely the tool. But when I started my career, I actually used Quark. I don't know if you guys know about Quark. I don't know if it's still in use today, but Quark was like that clunky software. And as soon as Adobe started to just being like the company that takes it all with Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, and they all speak to each other, it was just an easy flow. I didn't even learn about InDesign. I just It was instinctive. So that was just the great thing about it. But yeah. Scrolling. Carl says, are there any plans to add more content in the for experienced artists in the DPA? Eventually, yes. What I would like to do is to have really just that that natural workflow from pure beginners to really semi-professional to professional. Really, that's the goal that I always had with Paintable. It might be into two different products. So we might keep the DPA actually for beginner to advanced to a little bit more to advanced, and then have something like the progression towards illustration for imagination, which is really on itself the next step, and then maybe have another step after that to reteach. We already have going pro, which is the course where I teach how to become a professional artist, how to find clients, how to talk to clients, how to build your portfolio. All of this is in there, and it's bundled with illustration for imagination. But I have a lot more ideas as we created the deep dive now that are specifically for the DPA members. I'm looking eventually to create another kind of deep dive, if you may, but for the illustration for imagination program, where you would have that membership that you can stay with us and build a portfolio 1 month at a time. So that's still in the paperwork. I'm still working on it. You'll have news as soon as I know it. But this year, I'm having so many ideas and a little bit more time on my end. So you can expect to have those kind of things arriving within the next 12 months, I would say. Will Paintable have a mobile app? I would love to, guys. Right now, it's not in the plan. But as we grow, who knows? Maybe one day that would be awesome. But if you are in the DPA, the platform that we use to put our videos, because we don't own that platform, it's called Kajabi. It's like just a platform to put the videos there and build the websites and all that. I know they have a mobile version of it, so that is already something. But an actual app, it's not in the plan for now. Going through it. See, I'm not able to do two things at a time. I'm reading and then I just lose completely focus. Jobsa says, would the annual cost of membership go up as well? No, that's the great news. I didn't talk about this. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. That's the great news. We are not going to change the annual for two reasons. A, because I believe that if someone really wants to learn digital painting and is serious about it, I want to give you guys the best deal possible. So we're not going to change that. And the second reason, B, is because we want to incentive people that are really serious about it to actually take the leap of faith, stay with us a year. And the great news is both the annual and the membership of the monthly, you still have 30 days for both of them. So you have peace of mind. You can try it all, go in there, try everything, do the exercises, come to one Q&A at the very least. And after all of it, if you realize that this is not for you, we're in the business of teaching, not a business of keeping the money, right? So if this is not the right product for you, there's no harm done there. We'll give you a full refund. But we really want to incentive people are serious about it because, yes, you can stay on a month-to-month basis, and that's great. But if you put a year behind it, with the new deep dive now and the new DPA that gets bigger and bigger, you'll see the greatest results. It's really when you commit to something that you see the greatest results. For that reason, the annual won't change right now. So it's going to stay the same price. So yeah. But if you want to have 1 month right now, like I was saying, this is the perfect time. Because if you take it at 35 now, and we're going to change the price in about a week, then you will stay at 35 for the rest of your time that you stay with us. So that's the great news about this. Thanks for the question. That was a great question. Forgiveness says, what are the first few subjects to focus on for a total beginner for building foundation? Example, light, value, perspective. So the way we build the DPA is exactly to answer that question kind of thing. And what you need is, first of all, you need enough material to understand your software. And so what we did with the foundation is we teach you how to do your first sketches, how to sketch from observation in proportion, also the coloring, the rendering. So those are like the basic blocks. And while I teach that in the DPA, I teach you about your software. So really trying to understand the tools, but as well things like the blending modes, what they do, how to use them for coloring, all of those things, the different techniques with the different tools. And once you have that, then software is not no more an issue for you, right? So sometimes sometimes the software blocks you, and the idea is to pass through the foundation, understanding the foundation blocks, and have no problem with the software. And from there, you want to go towards things like lighting, which becomes a lot more technical, but also software agnostic. You don't need a software to understand about lighting, even color theory technically, right? So you start with understanding the foundation of the software with the foundation of the building blocks, being able to do your first illustration, and then you go towards anatomy, lighting, perspective, composition, those kind of things. That's how I build the DPA. So yeah, really it's made for you. If you are a beginner or a newbie, you start from the top and you just follow. It's as simple as that. I really made it that I put myself in the shoes of a beginner basically when I started, and I was like, what do I need to see the greatest progress? And that's how I built the DPA. Kyle says, have you tried Adobe Fresco? Yes, I did once, but not enough to give you really an honest, complete opinion about it. I just kind of made a few marks with it. And for me, it was just kind of, it was too close to Procreate. And I was like, well, I already know Procreate. I don't need to know all the software. And that's a warning for everybody. I know there's a lot of you guys that will be shining objects. Anyway, you know what I mean? That basically you would put your focus on a new software or new things, the new software that comes out, and be really excited about it. And just be careful, because you will lose time into learning a new software. So if you know a software right now, you don't need another one. What you need is more technique, more structure, more practice, but the software itself won't make you a better artist. There's people that are able to do amazing work with a pen. You don't need a software, right? So digital art is just another medium. So no matter what is your medium, your software, your tablet, that's beside all you need to learn to become an illustrator, right? So all that to say that Fresco, I haven't put my head on it too much because I already have the softwares that I like. All right, I'll answer just a few more questions. Thank you so much for all the questions, guys. I'll answer question until my 11, so another 8 minutes, and then I'll let you guys, because I'm losing my voice and my stomach is saying that I need food. Katwunami says, Quark still exists, but it's such a reference for publisher themselves. Yeah, it shows, I guess, my age a little bit, right? I feel, okay, so Ilya says, I feel like I skipped step by doing IFI first, but now I'm thinking of joining the DPA and doing a basis. Well, the great thing about the DPA and IFI is they work very well together, because you'll have a lot more practice right now with the membership in the DPA, and IFI is really that big jump. We're doing a 6 to 8 weeks together. It's very intensive. We create one beautiful painting. There's a community that comes with it, but the community kind of fades out after the program, even though you still have access to it, right? But in the DPA right now, at the moment, what's cool is with the new deep dive, the new subject that we do with the community on a monthly basis, and the giant 8 tracks of learning paths, you really have the material to keep on adding to the material that you know in IFI. So the two really talk to each other, and that's how I build them, to make sure that they would be just helping each other. You can start as a beginner with the DPA and go to IFI, but in your case, if you started with the IFI, you can go to the DPA and you will still find a lot of material here to help you with your Illustration for Imagination program, which obviously as an IFI member, you are invited to the one that comes this year. So really excited to see you there. Carl says, thank you, David. Looking forward to learning more when I get through the DPA. Awesome. Thank you for joining today. Sabrina question says, will you at some point do collabs with other digital artists like Aaron Blends and other? I would love that. It's actually one of the things I've been thinking about for quite a while. I've just been busy with my own projects. So I'm saying yes to this, but we also have a few artists that we're close to. I've been kind of teasing them to doing project last year, and I kept the door open. So I'm saying yes to this one. I just don't know when it's going to happen, but definitely yes. Isn't Fresco a subscription? I'm fed up with Adobe subs. I don't know. Obviously, the Adobe Suites is a subscription. That's probably one of the downside for you. Clip Studio Paint, for example, is a one-time purchase, but it's different product for different people. I'm not sure about Fresco though. Fergus says, thank you. You're absolutely welcome. Azim says the lighting makes you feel like an arcane character. I'm not sure where you refer from that, but Arcane was an amazing series, guys. If you didn't see that, God, you gotta go see this. It was amazing. Fresco is included in your Adobe subscription, says Kyria. So I guess it answered the question. Yes, it is a subscription. And I think that's all the question for today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. It was awesome. So like I was saying, I'm just going to repeat it. We are changing the price from 35 to 45 on Friday. So if you don't want to miss your chance to have it at the smaller price, at the lowest price, you can jump today and you'll have that price for as long as you stay with us. And the monthly will change, but the annual will stay the same. So thank you so much for being there with me. I'll talk to you in the Paintable Tribe, guys. Have a good Sunday. Happy painting, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.